yeah, this is going to be Majora's Mask 3D.
There you go. Perfect.
I will give you guys or I will count down so you guys can start the timer. Oops, hold on a second. There's something special that I need to do when I start the game here. Okay, there we go.
Oh,
what?
No.
Why didn't that
quite.
work? This is off to a great start. All right, third time. There we go. Okay. All right, so time is going to start when I select start on the file, and I'll count you down. I'm going to be editing just some of my options in-game first for my selected settings. All right, so 3, 2, 1, go. So, yeah, this is going to be Majora's Mask 3D, and I'm going to be your runner, Gymnast86. Before we get started, I think we should have the couch introduce themselves.
Sure, I'm Megahertz. I run any % for this game.
I'm Flex Plexico. I run Dungeon Pixie Squad and any %.
I'm Nerds with the Game. I thought this was line to the bathroom.
And yeah, so we're all really excited to show
wait.
you guys.
Jim, Fox.
Oh, yeah,
We
sorry.
forgot Fox?
We forgot
Yeah.
the Fox plushie.
Yeah. So there's a guy in the or just in the general Zelda community named the Wayfaring Fox. He is a taster of this game, the original version of this game, and OT, and he's done a lot of glitch hunting in a lot of games. So he unfortunately couldn't be here, but we have a nice Fox plush for him.
Yeah, shout outs to you, Fox. You're amazing.
Like, like he's come up with almost every route for this game, at least recently.
But yeah, so this game, typically the most commonly asked question that I get when people see speedruns of this game for the first time is, what are the differences between this game and the original game? Because obviously, this game is a remake of Majora's Mask on the N64. So casually, this game was changed quite a bit from its N64 counterpart. The most jarring difference that you'll probably see in this run is that all of the boss fights have been changed pretty much. Some more than others. Some are more or less the same than they were in the original. There are also some mechanical changes with the day-night system, the Song of Time saving system, and also just some items that have been, switched around where you get them and whatnot. For this run, we're actually going to be playing on the English version of the game. Text doesn't really matter all that much when you're speedrunning this game. Japanese is the fastest text, but it only saves about 5 seconds over English, so we thought that we'd just play in English for the pleasure of the viewers. So when it comes to speedrunning this game compared to the original, if you're familiar with speedruns of the original, you're going to pretty much want to throw all that knowledge out. This game is completely different from the original game when it comes to speedrunning. The only real similarities you're going to see are pretty much like basic movement mechanics. So it should be a lot of fun. We got some serious shenanigans that we're going to do during this.
But first cycle.
Yeah. And before first cycle, we have the infamously difficult logs right here. So backwalking is the fastest form of movement that we can do when we just have basic movement techniques. There'll be some faster things that we can do later. And then if you don't need to go that far, rolling is typically the best option. Those were some very suspicious rolls, though. Yeah, so the beginning of this run is pretty cutscene heavy, so if you want to rattle off some donations, we can do that now.
We have $50 from Aerospace. Majora's Mask is the best game, so of course I had to drop a donation. We have $150 from Requiem. I wanted to offer doubling this donation if the runner shot every single pirate in the interior of Pirate's Fortress, but then I looked up the any % run for Majora's Mask 3D and realized you probably won't even go anywhere near there.
That is correct.
Oh well.
Spoilers.
Instead, I'll just give another $50 if this gets read during the run. We have $22.22 from Wizekra X. Which has the better music? Is it the Zelda franchise or the Super Mario franchise? If you agree that it's Zelda, I will donate another $22.22.
It's definitely Zelda.
It's definitely Zelda.
All right, that's $22.22 more. We have $50 from Lily Starflame. Been watching Gymnast runs for a while now. Glad to see him here running one of the best games ever made. I'll double my donation if I can get a Skull Kid laugh from the couch. A Skull Kid laugh. Well, there it is, I guess.
I don't think I can go high enough for that.
That is a pretty difficult one to do. We have $20 from Maractus. Wanted to donate during one of my favorite games of all time. I absolutely loved, oh, there's a laugh. I absolutely loved Majora's Mask growing up as a kid, and Majora's Mask 3D just improved everything. Super excited for this run. Good luck, Gymnast.
Thank you. All right, so now we've turned into Deku Link, and Skull Kid is evilly getting away. This is where, in the story, we would meet our partner for this game, Tattle. She actually is useful for the run because there's an interesting new mechanic that you can use in this game called a Tattle, or you can set what's called a Tattle alarm in the game, which will allow Tattle to remind you of something at any hour of the day. And so as Deku Link, backwalking is also the fastest normal movement. The spin move on Deku Link was actually changed to be, or to accelerate slightly slower in this game compared to the N64 version. So it's just kind of a little thing. Makes it a little harder to use Deku Link. Also, I should note that for this run, I will be using the Circle Pad Pro 3DS extension. You can see on the camera right there. This allows me to use a free cam in-game and actually provides another beneficial effect that I will get to later once it's relevant. So right now, we're actually going to go and get this Deku Nut chest right here. We don't actually need to use Deku Nuts, but we need to have them in our inventory for a glitch that we'll be doing in about 10 minutes. And then we'll make our way over to the tree over here. There's also a slight Tattle text trigger right here that we're actually just going to spin through to completely skip. For some reason, that's just a thing you can do. I guess Deku Link's spinning animation makes him just busy to stop those triggers from happening. So you'll see those in first cycle a little bit. Now, if you're familiar with speedruns of the original game, you'll know that at this point in the run, they would begin to do the Happy Mask Salesman skip. Unfortunately, we actually can't do that in this version, so we're just going to watch the cutscene. The reason for that is in Majora's Mask and Majora's Mask 3D, cutscenes take 2 frames of gameplay to load, but unfortunately, the only pausing that we have currently takes 2 frames to activate. So in the original, pausing the game to like the item menu would only take 1 frame, but because the item menu is on the touch screen in this game, it takes 2 frames to activate.
Luckily, though, because the text is so fast in this version of the game, it doesn't take as much time to get through this cutscene.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, we'll actually exit the clock tower a bit faster than an optimal Happy Mask Salesman skip would on the original.
Yeah, so now we enter Clock Town, and we start the infamous first cycle of Majora's Mask, where normally you can't really do that much. You're kind of just confined to Clock Town and the activities that are in it. But it's a good way for new players to learn about this world and the mechanics of the game. But thankfully, we do have some ways to speed up the first cycle. So right here in East Clock Town, we're going to be entering into the Stockpot Inn and talking to Granny, because Link gets really sleepy when he hears her stories, and he'll be able to just sleep straight through for 24 hours of in-game time. Movement on slopes can be really slow depending on how steep the slope is, so that's why we side hop down there. All right, so we want to hear the 4 giants, mash through the text, and suddenly it's 8 a.m. of the second day. And so we can do that again to get to the third day, of course. Unfortunately, we can't hear that story anymore, so we're going to exit out. Thankfully, though, there is one more way that we can advance time a little further into the third day, though. And while we get there, we can read some donations.
We have $25 from Muffin Monster. Hey guys, loving the run so far. Keep up the great work. And remember, stay hydrated, gymnast.
I will, thank you.
We have $40 from Project Zero. Hyped to watch Warcraft 3, more hyped to see Majora's Mask. Glad to be donating for the 3rd year in a row. We have $50 from Ketacat. Good luck and have fun on the Majora run, gymnast.
Thank
Donation
you.
goes to Runner's Choice.
All right, so the Scarecrow is in here. And when we talk to him, he allows us to dance, and he's going to set the time to be 6 p.m. of the current day, which means that we will have 6 hours of in-game time until it reaches midnight on the third day, at which point the clock tower will open and we can go inside to get the Ocarina back from Skull Kid. So like I said just a few moments ago, there's not really much you can do in Clocktown on the first cycle. Although one of the things that you're required to do is you need to go and get the stray fairy and return it to North Clocktown so that you can get magic, which is required to get the Ocarina back from Skull Kid. So stray fairy is over here. We can fly into it as Deku Link. And now we're going to enter into the Stockpot Inn again because now there's a 100 rupee chest that we can actually access here through this door on the top of the second story, which is only open during the night of the third day, so we couldn't have gotten it earlier. And with these rupees, we're actually going to be buying the bomb bag as Deku Link. Now, it's kind of strange that you can buy the bomb bag to begin with as Deku Link in the first cycle because you actually can't use bombs as Deku Link. Normally.
The salesman just says it to you, too. He's like, you can't use these, but sure, why not? Take them.
Yeah. So here we have the owl statues. These are points in the game that we can save and reload our files at if we wish. And then we'll head on over to West Clocktown where we can get the bomb bag. We can also rattle off some more donations now.
We have $150 from Longbow Havoc. Let's go for the first Zelda game of SGDQ 2018. We have $10 from Poet Gamer who sent us a limerick. Well, the Zelda game Majora's Mask, how long does it typically last? It took months of trying for me to stop dying. Good luck to the speedy gymnast.
Thank you.
More poems to come.
I happily await them.
We have $40 from Casual Cheese. Good luck defeating the real villain of this game, the Mask Salesman. We have $50 from Snickerbockers. This game is absolutely magical.
All right, so we're heading out to the Clocktown Fairy Fountain. There's another tattle trigger that we're going to skip over here just by simply spinning and holding R to shield Deku Link as we go through it. That's actually sort of an additional feature they added in this game. If you hold R to shield as Deku Link, you can still do A button actions, such as spinning or opening a door or burrowing into Deku flowers. So we're actually going to be using that to our advantage here after we get back out from this fountain. So the in-game time right now is about 8:30 p.m., which means we still have 3.5 hours of the in-game time until we have to, or until the door at the clock tower is going to open up for us to go through. So we're actually going to do something a little different during that time instead of just waiting. And because the tattle text trigger is still here, I have to backflip and spin again. Okay, so we're going to head over to the Deku flower here on the left. I'm going to angle up kind of specifically, and then we'll jump on out. I'm going to put my bombs over my X button, and you'll notice that my bombs are actually lit up right now, which means that I could use bombs. Normally when you can't use a button, it's dimmed out. However, there's only one frame here where it works, so I'm going to try to buffer to it. One more frame. Okay. So now I can take out a bomb as Deku Link, place it beside me, get back to the flower. Oop, okay. It's a little late, unfortunately, so we can try again. Just switch my bombs to the Y button for it to work now. Yeah, so there's one frame here where I can use the bomb as I touch down to the ground. Buffer more. One more frame. Okay. Okay, so now I need to wait for one of two specific frames to appear on the bomb. I'll keep on buffering towards that. Thankfully, I can do this easy one-frame buffering because I actually have the Circle Pad Pro with me. It should be just here once the bomb begins to go bigger. Yeah, okay, so the very next frame. Maybe this one. Okay, so now I'm going to hold R, A, and right on the Circle Pad Pro. And using this, I can get what's known as a Deku flower slide to escape clock down.
14.
Yeah, 14.
14.
All right, so time is
14.
pretty tight right
Count
here.
14.
I'm going to want to be entering the Southern Swamp hopefully before midnight. If I don't, it's not that big of a deal, but it'll save some time if I do. So while we're back walking, you can read some more donations for us.
We have $10 from EXC at 95. I was never able to finish the original game, but when the 3DS came out, I was able to finish Majora's Mask 3D in just 2 days. I will send another donation if you get my name right. Well, I just kind of made something up, so hopefully that's right. We have $20 from the Markway family. Had to donate during our favorite Zelda game. Watching tonight with my children who beat this game with me back when they were still young enough to be very creeped out by it. Keep up the good work.
All right, so it's going to come down to the wire here. We have 10 more in-game minutes.
You got
So we
this.
should be able to make it. All right, good.
Hey, Jim.
Yes.
We counted 14 when you get a chance.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
thank you. Okay, yeah, so what the number they told me is the amount of home buffers that I did. That number is really important to know for a reason that we will explain later. Also, the reason we're coming to the Southern Swamp is so that we can learn the Song of Soaring right now. The position of this song was changed from the original game, where normally it's just before the entrance to Woodfall. But here it's right at the beginning, so we can escape Clocktown in first cycle to come get it. And the game doesn't care that we don't have the Ocarina. It'll let us learn it anyway. So you can read one more donation.
Well, it's a quick one. It's $40 from VG, who says, "Good luck, Jim."
Thank you, VG. All right, so the reason it was important for me to enter the Southern Swamp before midnight was so that we could watch this particular cutscene in the Southern Swamp, right? So this cutscene right here will actually reset my spawn point to be in Clocktown instead of the Southern Swamp. This is also a special cutscene that only plays during the first cycle when you don't have the Ocarina. So since my spawn point is now reset to Clocktown, I can simply die in the Southern Swamp, and I will be respawn at Clocktown. So there's a Deku Baba over here that we can use for death. Only does a quarter heart per hit though, but we can constantly get hit.
If that clock tower opening cutscene seemed a little bit weird to you, there are actually two versions of that cutscene. One that plays while you're in Clocktown, and one that plays in grottos or outside of Clocktown. And since we're outside of Clocktown, we saw the one that's not usually seen. But you can actually trigger that normally without glitches by going into the Deku Playground grotto, or the hideout.
Yeah, so now we're back at South Clocktown. We're going to skip the Moon's Tier, which is normally required to get up to the clock tower, by hopefully doing a gainer, which is a backflip where we end up grabbing the ledge up top, and then we can spin through another Tattletech trigger and be up here with Skull Kid. So again, this is just more cutscenes so you can read some donations.
We have $30 from Bakubomb. Looking forward to the Zelda run. It's always a joy to see Gymnast86 doing a run. Lastly, a shout out to my wife here right next to me. Hi, Taylor. We have $25 from Doc Mortem. Longtime watcher, first time for donations, and I had to donate since I had the funds this year and Gymnast is running one of my longtime favorites. Slap that Skull Kid to death with a Deku stick, my dude. P.S. I love you, puppy. Thanks for watching with me this year. We have $30 from Dad and Logan. Look forward to Games Done Quick every year with my son, who aspires to join this stage some year. We love Majora's Mask.
All right, so now we can stun Skull Kid with a Deku bubble. It drops the Ocarina of Time, and we can just get it back here. And now we have more exciting cutscenes, so you can read some more donations.
We have $40 from Mary Catherine August Collins, who just says doctor's out of bounds. We have $40 from Giga. Hope this donation can help Doctors Without Borders play the Song of Healing and prevent terrible fates worldwide.
Okay, so this is the Song of Time, which I'm pretty sure a lot of people know well. One sort of interesting thing about songs in this game is that for some reason you can play them like really fast, like faster than in the original Majora's Mask, the original Ocarina of Time, or even Ocarina of Time 3D. It's so fast, in fact, that sometimes you can play the entire song correctly, but like accidentally add an extra note onto the end and it'll be wrong. I've had that happen in a few runs of mine, and it's the silliest thing. Anyway, now we're going to pull out our tuba, I guess, or Deku pipes. And we're going to play the Song of Time. So one important difference with the Song of Time in this version of the game is that it will actually not save our progress like the original game does. So in the original game, you could play the Song of Time and then just reset the system and then open up your file again to skip this cutscene, but we can't do that here.
Yeah. I'll admit I made that mistake my first time playing this game, so I lost like 2 hours of playthrough across multiple cycles.
It took you 2 hours?
No, like 2 or 3 cycles. No, it was like 2 or 3 cycles.
2 or 3 cycles, okay.
Okay. Of course it did.
I believe you.
Like, you can just close the lid. Why would you ever save?
Yeah. Sleep mode is a thing for a reason.
Yeah.
So if you missed everything that just happened, here's the recap.
Yeah.
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 Also, another interesting thing, during that Dawn of the First Day text that pops up, for whatever reason, if you mash the B button, you can make that text disappear a few seconds sooner. And that goes for every day transition that we ever see in this run. So it's just a nice little time save that we have.
I lose 15 seconds to that every run.
Yeah, I mean, there are just a bunch of other like weird occurrences where mashing B will also make Link do something faster or make some sequence of events go faster by like a few seconds. All right, so now we go back into the clock tower and we talk to the Happy Mask salesman. While this is happening, you can read some more donations.
We have $150 from Dino Socks. When the moon in the sky hits the ground, we all die, that's Majora. Set a timer just for this run. First time watching and donating.
Jim, you played that song so fast, I didn't see what it was called. What was that?
That was the song of ripping people's faces off.
Oh, right.
I don't think so. Hey, Jim, have you done the home buffers yet for the timer?
Yeah, I just did them.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it was 14.
All right, so we just ripped our face off and now it's a mask.
Yeah, the game tells you the Song of Healing is meant to heal. No, it's meant to rip people's faces off.
pretty great. It's pretty great.
Yeah, so now the Happy Mask salesman expects that we also got Majora's Mask back somehow, but unfortunately we're not that quick. It's going to take us about another hour.
Yeah.
Happy Mask Salesman would have world record to this game already.
So again, mashing B during this cutscene will make this cutscene go slightly faster. The reason for that is because during this cutscene, the game will actually wait for each of these text boxes to be fully displayed for a certain amount of time before it cancels them and moves on to the next sequence of the cutscene. So by mashing the B button, we can make these strings of text fully displayed immediately, so the game will cancel them sooner.
Speaking of mashing B for cutscenes like this, in the Mountain Village, when you upgrade your sword to the Razor Sword or the Gilded Sword, you can actually mash B and go through the text box so quickly that you soft lock. So, yeah.
I'd say that's a fair trade-off for fast text for 99% of the game.
Yeah.
All right, so the Happy Mask Salesman is also going to give us the Bomber's Notebook in this run. And this is the tool that we can use to set tattle alarms, which we'll use later in the run. So this is actually a pretty useful part of the run for skipping one of the items later. But all right, so we're almost done with the first cycle here. And we can get on to doing some actual shenanigans.
But wait, there's more.
Okay, now the actual run begins.
Yeah. All right, so at this point in the run, our goal is to collect the 4 remains at the ends of the 4 temples in this game so that we can... hello. All right, whatever. Just roll. But yeah, we need to collect each of the 4 remains so that we can have the 4 giants hold up the moon for us to go and access the final boss. So the first temple that we're going to beat is the Woodfall Temple, but we're going to be taking some slight detours first. And those detours are to get the Goron and Zora transformation masks, because those masks are integral to the run, and they help save time in the Woodfall Temple. And so right now, I'm attempting to slash grass patches for a bomb drop. The chance of getting a bomb drop in any one of these patches is 1 in 8, so I just need 1, thankfully. There we go. All right. Whew. Thank you, RNGesus.
That's
Pretty good RNG, actually.
Yeah, so thankfully, because we have to head over to the Mountain Village now, it doesn't waste time to use the second grass patch versus the first one. But normally, to get to the Mountain Village, you'd need the bow to knock down some icicles. But thankfully, right here, there's actually a way we can just side hop up the wall right there and get around the ice. And during this movement up to the Mountain Village, we can do what are known as recoil flips to save a few seconds each off of these tektites. So just backflip into them, let go of the control stick, and you'll go flying backwards. Looks a little more impressive if you go off of a ledge or something, but it still saves a few seconds here.
Probably the hardest move in the game right there.
It's really easy to mess all that up.
If I remember the values correctly, a recoil jump like that is 1.5 times faster than backwalking. So, yeah. So over those short distances, it does add up.
All right, so we can read some more donations now.
We have $30 from an absolute turkey. Greetings from the crowd behind you. Hi.
Hey, what's up?
Hi.
Majora's Mask is... Majora's Mask is absolute nostalgia fuel for me. So many great memories from this game. Thanks for playing it for a great cause, Gymnast.
Oh.
We also have $40 from Riding Rioter, who says, having a great time in the front row. The crowd's really into this run. We have $100 from Smitty178. First time catching SGDQ live and first time donating. Glad it was during Majora's Mask.
All right, so one of the mechanics of this game is that when you jump off of a ledge, the distance that you get actually depends on what the speed value you had when you jumped off the ledge was. So So we can actually abuse that up here for what's known as a long jump using a bomb as a damage source. Because when you get damaged, you move really fast for like a single frame. And we can reach the invisible platforms over here. All right. Thankfully, the chance of a bomb drop in this cave is really high, so we can easily get bombs. And so now we're getting the Lens of Truth. The sole purpose of getting the Lens of Truth is so we can get the Goron mask. Unfortunately, there's no way around that. And since we already have the Song of Soaring from first cycle, we can just use it to go back to the mountain village. All right, so there's a bomb drop in this snowball off to the left here, which will give me 18 bombs. That's the amount of bombs that I need for the rest of the run, because the bomb count is very lenient here. Even if I were to waste some, it wouldn't matter. And I can also use the Lens of Truth while climbing this wall. I could memorize it, but I'm lazy, so I don't want to. And our magic use here, or the magic consumption of the Lens of Truth doesn't really matter that much also.
You can also just mash the lens button to not use any magic, but yeah, again, doesn't really matter.
Also, this is another instance where mashing B will just make you go faster. If you're climbing a ladder or a wall, like back there, if you mash B, you'll just, like, the climbing animation will simply speed up. All right, so now we got the Lens of Truth. We can play the song of ripping people's faces off for Darmani, and then we'll get his face. So during this time, you can read a donation or two.
We have $50 from Brett223. Majora's Mask is still my prized game cartridge. The holographic design always reminds me of the old holographic Pokemon cards we used to trade in elementary school. Keep up the good work, guys. We have $30 from The Magician. Hey all, I've watched a bunch of these online, but I've never been able to watch live before. I gotta donate for the first Zelda game, and I'll be here for Doom as well. Good luck, Gymnast.
Thank you.
We have $100 from Pyric. Awesome to see Majora's Mask 3D run here. Best of luck, Gymnast.
Thank you.
We have $150 from Mulciber 11,335. That's a lot of numbers. The amount of time it is going to take Gymnast to beat this game is how long it took me to finish the Anju side quest. Keep being awesome and thank everyone involved in putting on this awesome event.
All right, so we got the Goron mask, and now we're going to use the Song of Soaring to go back to Clocktown because we're done here in the northern part of Termina for the time being.
Darmani really wanted us to save his people, but we got some better things to do.
We can do it later.
Yeah, it's okay. All right, so right here, I'm going to put on the Deku mask and then immediately follow it with the Goron mask so that I can skip the Goron mask transformation cutscene, which would normally play if I put on the Goron mask from just regular human Link. And so our next detour, as I mentioned earlier, is to go and get the Zora mask. And the way we're going to do that is with a Deku flower slide, like we saw earlier. So we're going to pull out a bomb. Thankfully, no restricted items this time. And we can do a Deku flower slide off of it, and then make our way to Great Bay.
An interesting property about these flower slides, or bloom zooms, shout out to Tungle, is that wall collision doesn't really exist, so we can just go under the fence.
So there's also another way of getting into Great Bay early with this one. That would be using the bomb to do another long jump and a jump slash to get over the fence, because bombs work a little bit differently in this game in comparison to Majora's Mask, where you can just use the Goron mask and do a damage boost over the fence. Instead, the bombs tend to slam dunk you whenever you try and get in the air with it. So,
yeah, if you get hit by an explosion in midair, you just fall straight down in this game.
Another interesting thing about the flower slides, which luckily we didn't see, is that since the walls don't have collision, if you were to clip into the sides of the map, you would actually fall through and void out. And because the way the flower slide works, you move backwards from the direction the camera is facing, you can't really see where you're going. So Jim has memorized the route to Great Bay and did not void out.
So if you notice at the top left of the stream is what is the bottom screen on the 3DS. In tricks like a flower slide, it's very useful to look at the map on the screen. We don't, yeah. So it's just very useful for flower slides and other tricks to just look at there.
Yeah, so I'm really sorry, Mikau, but we kind of need your face, so. We can read some donations now.
Just really quick shout out to NOP3D. He always plays the piano during this cutscene.
Well, no piano during this cutscene, I guess. But we do have some donations. We have $300 from Lord Donator.
It is I, Lord Donator, here to give my contribution to this most noble of causes. Put my coin towards naming the file in Skyward Sword Lord Donator. And thank you all for the hard work you put into this event.
Thank you very much, Lord Donator.
We have $100 from Beefster. It feels good to be able to finally donate this much to Doctors Without Borders. Majora's Mask is one of my favorite games of all time, and Majora's Mask 3D's release was all it took to get me to buy a 3DS. Good luck on the run, Gymnast.
Thank you.
We have $40 from Nukefile. First-time watcher, second-time donator. Had to donate in the first Zelda run of the week. Good luck to Gymnast.
Thank you.
We have $50 from Epidel44. Majora's Mask is an all-time favorite. Really excited for this run. Thanks to everyone who works on the GDQ events every year, and keep on keeping on.
All right, so we got the Zora mask now, so we can transform into Deku Link, Goron Link, and Zora Link at the current moment. So now we can finally go to begin the normal sequence of events that precedes going into the Woodfall Temple. As soon as this cutscene ends.
I think we're promising Mikau to help his girlfriend, but we've really got some better stuff to do right now.
Yeah. Also, just a quick note, when we played the Song of Soaring for the first time, we were forced to watch the cutscene, but ever since then, we can actually press the A and B buttons to skip the Song of Soaring cutscene every time we do it, which is really nice. Also, right there, I collected a Deku stick because I will need that for later in the run. And obviously, Goron Link movement is very fast, so we'll be using him to move around here.
Goron is the fastest way of moving in general.
So in the Woods of Mystery, I actually don't want to go full speed as Goron Link because it's really hard to go through the Woods of Mystery with full speed Goron Link since you can't turn at a very tight radius. But the reason we're here is because we do want to get the bottle with red potion in it that the witch back at the hut will give us once she learns that her sister is stuck in the woods. Once again, mashing B to climb this ladder faster.
Looks funnier with Goron Link.
All right, so for most of this game's history, for most of this game's history, usually whenever you got this bottle, you'd just warp away and you wouldn't care about saving the sister. But we actually need the Picto Box for this run, which you can only get if you save this witch sister in the woods. It's also really nice to take pictures.
Yeah, pictures are pretty nice.
So while we do this, you can read another donation.
We have $45 from Lily230. My husband Cam and I have been watching SGDQ together since its beginning, and we can't believe how this event has grown and all of the good it has done. The runners, volunteers, the community, everyone who has come together to make this happen every year, you are all amazing. Let's go fast and keep being awesome.
All right, so we saved the witch, and now we can just warp back to the Southern Swamp so that we can go to her hut and then go and get the Picto Box. Normally when you get the Picto Box, the witch attempts to take you on a boat cruise, but we don't like boat cruises, they're slow, so we're going to politely decline her opportunity.
You say opportunity as if she tries to give you a choice.
Oh, nice.
Well,
All right, let's try that again. There we go. All right. So by standing in front of the door here when we receive the Picto Box, we can cancel the cruise event from triggering and just simply exit the house.
Yeah. Basically, as long as your A button says open from the door, the cruise can't start. So you can just press A.
All right, and then obviously with Zora and Goron Link, we can skip the boat cruise by defeating the Octo as Zora and rolling over to the Deku Palace as Goron Link. In the Deku Palace, we will be learning the Sonata of Awakening, which is required to open Woodfall Temple. So normally Deku Palace, you're required to go do some stuff with a magic bean and like watering it and stuff. But of course, we don't need to do any of that because we're fast.
Besides, we have other things we want to water.
Yes. All right, so we're going to spin around the guards here. On this door frame, we can actually just backflip up onto it and then backflip up onto this platform right here. And that pretty much skips all of Deku Palace. Then we can get into the loading zone here, where we will learn the Sonata. So you can read some more donations now.
We have $25 from Moonstone. You haven't been met with terrible RNG, have you? I hope not.
Thankfully not.
Here's to good luck on the run, and I'll donate another 25 if the sofa bounces like the Deku do while in the Deku Palace. All right. Anyway, we have $25 from Matt W186. I've loved GDQ since I've started watching. Now that I'm in a position to donate, I had to do it during my favorite game done by my favorite runner.
Oh, thank you very much.
We have $256 from Neat40. Everybody knows red is the fastest color. We have $300 from Austin168. Was pleasantly surprised to come home and see my favorite Zelda on SGDQ. Great game and a great cause. Keep up the excellent work. We have $50 from Van and Caden. My son and I are watching our first GDQ event. Thanks for putting on a good show for a great cause, Gymnast. Junior says save the animals.
All right, so now we're going to get kicked out of the Deku Palace. And now that we have the Sonata, though, we can make our way to Woodfall and actually make the Woodfall Temple rise up. So right here, off of these lily pads, we actually do side hops because, as I mentioned earlier, the Deku Link acceleration with the spin attack is really slow, so a side hop just happens to be faster there. And then here we're going to do some precise long jumps. Hopefully I can make them. These are actually pretty tricky. Oh, wow. Okay. That's never happened before.
That works.
All right, nice. That's actually good that we managed to get both of the dragonflies with those bombs, because now they can't bother us while we're going over here.
Those dragonflies are probably the worst enemy in this entire game, by far.
Yeah, and hitting that first one with the bomb actually generated a decent amount of lag, which could have thrown off when he did the very precise jump slash at the end of the first one, but he pulled it off. Really good job.
All right, so we're a little low on health right now. That's actually usual, though, with those long jumps. Thankfully, there is some grass right here that we can get, where we can refill both our magic and our health. So this is magic. This one is health. And then we can do more side hops. We can defeat these beetle enemies with just 2 Deku Link bubbles. And then we're going to do another bomb jump here to get over to this guy. That skips just having to fly as Deku Link. That saves a few seconds.
So a change between the original version and this version. On the original version, you had to stand on the little raised center with the Deku royal family logo, or not logo, like crest on it. While on this version, you can just stand anywhere on that platform to play Sonata to raise Woodfall.
All right, so Woodfall Temple. This is going to be one of the longer temples in the run, so hopefully you'll bear with us through its incredibly lengthy 5 minutes. And we're also coming here with the Goron and Zora masks, which we're not normally supposed to have yet, so we'll see some interesting things done with those. So in this room, we're going to skip all of the Deku flying. First as Goron Link by rolling up the edge of this log. And then when we get over here, we can do another bomb jump as Link, or the super aerial, as I like to call it. Oop, okay.
Oh.
An angle was off by a little bit, but that's fine. Can just try again. Up over here. There we go.
And if you thought that long jump was cool,
Yeah, we got another long jump coming up here, but the positioning for this one is precise, so I want to make sure it's definitely correct.
the slashing was, in this game, you can't slash off a ledge because you take a little bit step forward, and while you're slashing, you can't fall off ledges, so.
All right.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, so for that long jump, if you hold A as Zora Link before long jump, you'll actually get a diving animation, which is what allows you to roll over the pillar in the center right there and jump to the other side. So that skips half of Woodfall Temple. And right here we have this super tough Lizalfos.
Oof. Almost got hit there.
Yeah.
Hey, Jim.
Yeah?
You know, this is your first run at a GDQ. This run's been pretty decent. And you know, this room looks pretty cool. I think you should take a picture in it.
Oh yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Some of these
Alright.
textures just look so nice.
Yeah,
I know, right?
You gotta celebrate the moment.
This wall over here looks pretty good. We'll just stand behind this Deku flower. Good wall, all right. And next obvious step, oh dang, okay. All right, unfortunately we messed that up. It's okay, we'll go back and take the picture. That picture was bad.
Yeah, it didn't develop properly, you know. This game originally came out original version came out in 2000, still used a film camera.
All right, just to conserve health here, I'm going to fly as Deku Link instead. I will have to get over to the other side, though. So we get to see this really cool trick again.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that long jump is actually kind of precise because it's possible to void out as Zora Link if you hit the flame that's in the torch. All right, so let's try this again, except with a better angle. Oops, hold on a second. Okay. All right, hopefully this picture is better. Nope, not a good picture. I'm gonna try again. Nope. Trust me, you'll know when the picture's correct. Man, Goron Link's jumpy today.
It's hard to make him sit still for this picture.
Come on. Oh.
A little bit to
Dang.
the left there.
Rough.
Yeah. All right.
So what he's actually hitting, I believe, is the load zone for the stairwell, right? In that
Yes.
unloaded room?
Yeah. My angles, or well, my positioning is a little bit too far to the left, so I keep on hitting that up there.
The unfortunate part is, since it's unloaded, he can't exactly go into it, so he's just stuck there. So you have to warp back in order to get back out of it.
Some parts of this log are weird. All right.
So yeah, the interesting thing about dungeons in this game or any Zelda game is that the entire map is loaded when you enter. It's just the textures of the different rooms and the load zones of the doors are not loaded.
And the actors.
And the
And the actors.
And it's not just dungeons, it's actually every map in the game, and that'll be important in a bit after this.
Yeah, but the one thing that is loaded in dungeons is the load zone for boss rooms. So.
Yes.
3 for 3 with that one, but 0 for 2 on this one. All right. All right, here we go. We're gonna get it this time. I can feel it. There we go. Okay. Woo! Yeah, so this trick right here is known as a Goron missile. With it, we can do really cool tricks, such as skipping the Woodfall boss key. So here's Odolwa.
Yeah, we'll talk more about it in the Giants cutscene after this fight.
This is probably like my favorite fight in the game too.
It's a great fight.
It's a wonderful fight.
Oh, why is he jumping? There we go. Yeah, so using the Zora Link magic, we can stun Odolwa and then hit the eye that opens up at the top of his head.
So you notice that Jim is doing a very specific amount of damage to the eyes. That's because in this game, the boss fights were changed where they added these weird eye things, and they limit how much damage you can do to a boss in a cycle. So Jim is doing a precise pattern of damage to do the most per cycle and end the fight as quickly as possible.
Yeah, so that was Woodfall Temple. Unfortunately, it was a bit over 5 minutes, but still one of the longest dungeons in the run. All right, so we were able to get the heart container right there. The heart container is mainly for safety, but it actually doesn't waste any time to get it because you would actually have to wait in the blue warp for the remains anyway. Like if we were to just go straight to the blue warp, we'd just sit there for a few seconds while Link just stands there until he actually collects the remains. So that's nice.
And then, Jim, do you want to talk about Goron Missile, or should one of us?
Oh yeah, I can talk about it. So what exactly is happening for us to fly way out of bounds as Goron Link like that? So we start with the picture that we take, right? In this game, if you go into first-person mode with the Picto Box and you do a glitch called you can do a glitch called restricted items, right? So if you have 2 items on your X and Y button, one which you can use and one which you can't use, if you switch them while in the Pictobox first-person camera, then their properties will sort of get switched, so you'll be able to use the one that is normally not usable, and you won't be able to use the one that is normally usable. So then we take the picture, and right after the picture is taken, we have around a second or so where we can use the item that is normally restricted. So with that glitch, we can pull out the bow as Goron Link, and just for whatever reason, I'm not entirely sure why, but if you have either the bow or the hookshot out in your hand as Goron Link, and you do a ground pound, the game will just completely screw up your speed calculation based on whatever speed you had before the pound, and you can just shoot off into the distance at extremely high speeds. And the reason I had to stand in front of a Deku flower to do it was so that I could be standing on a slope, right? Because the slope not only sent me forward, but the slope also sent me really high upward, which is what allowed me to do the boss key skip. And that's sort of a crash course on Goron Missile. I'm sure Nerds has more to say about it.
Yeah. Well, just 2 quick things about it. How quickly you get out of a Goron Missile is dependent on how quickly you are rolling when you actually pound. We don't quite understand the speed calculation, but in general, the faster you are rolling before you press pound, the faster your missile will be. And actually, that's the only thing I wanted to say.
That means you did good, Jim.
Thank you.
Oh, I actually remember. So this is actually about the pictograph box. When you take a picture with the pictograph box, you're actually taking 2 pictures, one for the left eye and one for the right eye for a 3D effect. And So you can't take a single picture in this game. You have to take them in multiples of 2.
Right, because this game's in 3D.
Yeah.
All right, so you can read a donation or two right now.
We have $5 from Kiwilicious. First time tuning in live, and I'm always floored at how buck wild Majora's Mask 3D is.
Oh.
Plus, Gymnast was the first speedrun I ever watched, so I had to donate. Good luck on the run.
Thank you very much. Okay, so we have a glitch that allows us to, fly out and upwards really far. Of course, we're going to be using this right away again. So right now, we're going to be using it to enter the Woodfall Fairy Fountain, which is just over here. So we're going to take a nice picture of it. This one's a bit easier to visualize. Whee!
Yep.
All right, now, this one is a little interesting. And this one's also really precise, so hopefully we get this first try.
Shout outs to Megahertz for finding a good setup for this.
All right, nice. All right, so here we are in Akana Canyon. You're probably wondering how exactly that happened. Well, as it turns out, the fairy fountains in this run are actually all on the same map. So using Goron Missile, you can just simply go through the walls. Also, we're frozen now. There we go. Go through the walls to enter the different fairy fountains and go through their loading zones. Speaking of going through walls, here's another one we're going to go through.
Shout outs to doors, specifically not going through them.
All right, so this is the music box house, and unfortunately for this man, we need his face. So we'll be playing the song of ripping people's faces off. It's okay, though. He gets to keep his real face. It just takes off the fake face he has on.
See, look, they're happy.
The Song of Healing did something good for once. Yay!
Yep. We reunited this family.
He looks kind of emotionally scarred, but...
All right, so the Gibdo mask. We don't actually need the properties of the Gibdo mask itself. We kind of just need the Gibdo mask's place in our inventory right here. So now we're going to return to the mountain village. We're not going to be saving the Gorons quite yet, though. And we're going to be doing a trick known as ESS duping. So I'm going to slash this snowball, which has a fairy in it. I'm going to take a bottle and my Gibdo mask, catch a fairy in the bottle, hold ESS position, and then press the bottle button followed right by the Gibdo mask. So now there's an empty bottle over my Gibdo mask, which I can use for various shenanigans. Oh, hold on a second. Yep.
Oh, you got it. You caught it.
Yeah. Just a safety save in case things go bad, but they probably won't. Alrighty. So now I need to get over into the grotto on the other side of the Twin Isles right here. It's surrounded by ice, but thankfully we can go really fast. So here's another Goron missile for you.
It's a nice picture of that wolf was.
Okay, so right now, I'm actually going to need to wait for about 35 seconds. Because this trick that we're about to do actually depends on how long the game has been on for. So the reason that I failed to start the run at the beginning of this video probably is because I needed to start a timer for the game at the same time that I started the game so that I could know exactly how long the game has been on.
And it's not just how long the game's been on, it's how long the game's actually been running. So closing the 3DS lid or home buffering will pause this timer, which is why we were all counting and double-checked with each other how many home buffers he did and kept reminding him of it.
All right, so now we caught the hot spring water. And apparently there are negative 15 hours remaining. That's kind of strange.
We failed.
Yeah. All right, so when we caught the hot spring water, time actually went completely crazy, but thankfully the Song of Inverted Time can fix it. So now time's running normally again, sort of. And we're going to soar back to Akana now because our next goal is to go and beat the Stone Tower Temple. Although, for some reason, we don't know what time of day it is or what day it is at all. The HUD on the top screen is actually completely missing. Oh, he got me.
Yeah, so normally Stone Tower to climb without the hookshot or elegy is a pain, but we have a pretty cool way of climbing it. If you guys want to try and take a guess on what we're going to do.
Yeah. I wonder what's coming next. All right, so right here we have a nice slope. I have to get rid of these boulders first, though. Another one's going to come down here. All right, so I'm going to line up just like this. Hopefully I can get in here before the Keese tries to hit me.
Yeah, and the reason he
Out.
the reason he destroyed those two boulders is it might seem like there's an infinite supply of boulders coming down, but it's just the same too. Once it gets low enough, it gets teleported back up.
Whee! All right, so yeah, that skips the... That skips the entire Stone Tower Temple climb.
Yeah.
Also, the sky is very deeply red right now, which is a little unsettling.
And if you're wondering why he didn't take fall damage isn't based on how long you've fallen. It's based on the height difference between where you land and where you left the ground.
I don't really like this hot spring water, so we'll just dump it here.
Yeah, so watering that sunblock erodes it away. Shout outs to probably Butter for that. Initially margarine.
Yeah, and that only works actually because of the small step that's in front of the block that we're standing up on. If that wasn't there, then this wouldn't work.
Yeah, we need the hot spring water to touch the side of the block, not the bottom. So there are other sunblocks where it will work, but we just need a way of touching the water, hot spring water or regular spring water to the side of the block.
All right, so now we get a magic refill, and we can get this small key. So, of course, the next logical step after getting this small key is to drown as Goron Link,
Not once.
but twice. And this will respawn us at the beginning of this room.
Yeah. How Goron drowning was changed between the original and this version, and as a result, if you drown multiple times under certain circumstances, instead of sending you to your last place on ground, it'll send you to your last entrance. And we drown so that we can activate that failsafe.
So the reason why Jim currently has this one stone boulder up for the sunroom here is so that for this sunblock that he's going to just shoot past, hopefully, right here.
Oh, that angle's not going to work. Thankfully, we can tell if the angle's not going to work.
Yeah.
But yeah, this Goron missile's really precise, and without notches on the circle pad, it's hard to do. This should work? Yes.
Perfect,
Okay,
yeah.
good.
And
So the reason why he doesn't knock down the last one there is that he needs to have a certain amount of height above the sunblock in order to clip past it. So if he was ground level with it, he would just bounce against it and just stay in the same room.
yeah.
Yeah, and then here we can do another Deku flower slide to get through this wall on the left if my timing is correct. There we go. Make sure to not touch that fire.
If you flower slide into that fire, you will burn as Deku and respawn at the door. So we don't want to do that.
So this is the Garo Master. The cool thing about this guy is that there's actually a lot of different strategies that you can use to fight him. I personally prefer to fight him as Goron Link, so that's what I'll be doing. Finish off with some ground pounds. It should be just one more. Oh, maybe not. Looks like that one missed him. There we go. All right, so now we get the light arrows. If we can get in front of the chest. Maneuvering after that cutscene as Goron Link is kind of weird because the camera takes a really long time to pan back to him. And now we're going to Song of Soaring back to the beginning of the dungeon and exit so that we can use the light arrows to invert the Stone Tower Temple.
So as I said earlier, every dungeon has the boss loading zone loaded in it, except for Stone Tower Temple. That boss loading zone is in the inverted Stone Tower Temple.
Yeah, also the position of that
Crystal.
the position of that crystal right there was changed from the original version to now be in a more convenient spot for us.
Well, convenient in one sense and very inconvenient in another.
Yeah.
The placement in the original version allows for you to actually skip light arrows for a low percent run. Unfortunately, because we have a roof over our crystal, we can't. We can't do what they do to skip it. We almost have another way to skip it, but that doesn't work for a really dumb and technical reason.
All right, so I'm gonna just take a slight detour over here for. Oh wait, that's magic. I thought that was health.
Other boxes up here.
Yeah. I do have 2 hearts right now, but it's gonna be a lot safer if I be on 4 hearts for this. All right, so another Goron missile coming up here for Stone Tower Temple boss key skip. This one's pretty precise also. Okay. Unfortunately, I didn't clear the ceiling in the next room, so we have to use the Song of Soaring to get back. Nice stomach.
Absolute unit.
Absolutely.
Ah, I get it. Okay. All right, there we go. So yeah, the tricky part about this one is when Goron Link has to uncurl, because if you uncurl too early, then you won't be able to clear the ceiling in the next room.
Look at his legs go.
Yeah. And you notice the background looks all the same. It might be hard to see where he is, but if you look at the top left of the stream, you can see him on the map. And so that's how we tell where to go.
Yeah, it's very good that we have access to, or like direct dynamic access to where our position is on the map. All right, so this is Twinmold. Twinmold pretty much makes up for like half of the time of this entire dungeon. This boss fight is much longer than it was in the original, and also contains a lot more eyes. So we're forced to start off by killing blue Twinmold first. Hello. Hi. There we go. Okay. Right now, red Twinmold is pretty much just going to try to run around and hit us whenever he comes out. That's actually the reason that I got the extra hearts, because 1 hit from red Twinmold will do 2 hearts of damage. So blue's going to burrow down while red attempts to attack me some more. And eventually blue will pop up again. Oh, okay.
Oh, stand right.
Yep. All right. Nice. Yeah, so if we stand on like the edge of the mound right there, we actually won't take any damage from the normal shockwave that would come out. Right here, I'm going to be hitting red's tail with a light arrow, which will cause him to burrow back under the ground, so I don't have to worry about him while I hit blue. And 3DS gyro aiming. Hello. There we go. Oh, dang it. All right, well, gonna have to wait for blue Twinmold to come around again. Nice pot. Hello. There we go. All right, so now that blue Twinmold is down, we can finally get down to conquering red Twinmold.
But first...
Yeah, but first the game has a little surprise for us. So normally you would get...
A little too eager there, Jim.
Normally you would get the Giant's Mask inside Stone Tower Temple, but here the game actually will give it to us in the middle of the Twinmold fight, which is actually kind of convenient because in this version it's required to beat red Twinmold, whereas in the original version you could beat Twinmold without the Giant's Mask.
Little fun fact about the Giant's Mask as well, it's technically not a transformation mask, but it actually just moves you to a different arena. So what ends up happening is that during this cutscene, he's moved to a different, smaller map of the boss arena. The boss model is made smaller, and Link is the same size still?
Yeah, Link is the same size, and they choose a camera angle to make him look bigger. And yeah, so we're like really high up above the original map with obviously the new textures loaded. But yeah, we haven't transformed. We're still in the same place, just higher up.
Oh, you got me. Okay, should be able to get him here. There we go.
Nice.
All right.
Nice.
Yeah, so it takes around 10 hits to knock down red Twinmold. I think we should go for the tail on this one. Do the Super Mario 64 So Long Gay Bowser.
So long, Bowser.
It's important to note that during all of these attacks that I'm doing to Twinmold in that cutscene right there, I'm actually spinning the circle pad. For some reason, spinning the circle pad will actually make the fight be only 3 cycles long instead of 4. There's absolutely no indication anywhere in the game that that should be possible. However, the guidebook for this game actually mentions that. Oh, we missed. The game also provides us with these boulders that we can use to knock Twinmold down.
But just 2 of them, unfortunately.
Yeah. So here we go once again. Ah. And we also need to constantly be really filling our magic here, since the Giant's Mask does use magic.
So Jim got pretty lucky there. He got 2 fireball cycles instead of summoning additional of those little Twinmold spawn. If you leave one of these spawn alive for the entire fight, Twinmold will always shoot the fireballs, but...
Oh, okay.
That's fine.
good.
Yeah. I might have to wait, though.
Yeah, probably a good idea.
All right, so I actually have to wait for the time of day to transition here, right here, before I actually land the final hit. Also, we got an error again. And I can do this here. All right, so the reason I played the Song of Double Time earlier is because I needed to set it to be 5 a.m. of the current day. Unfortunately, it was past 5 a.m., so I wasn't really able to set it back to where I needed it to be.
That's one of the other changes they made in this game. You can set the Song of Double Time to a specific time of day, only up to hours, no more specific than that.
All right, so that's thankfully it for Red Twinmold. So while Red is dying, we can read a few donations.
We have another donation from out there in the crowd, $25 from Ian Lee. I'm in the audience and I want to give a shout out to my brother watching on Twitch. He saved my life 2 years ago by donating a kidney and I love him. We have $30 from someone who is secretly a velociraptor. Thanks to all the runners, organizers, and behind-the-scenes members for a week of fast-paced and highly entertaining runs. I absolutely love what you all do for such a great cause. Donation goes to Runner's Choice, but only if you agree that Dimitri the Dodongo is the best animal buddy in the Oracle Zelda games.
Dimitri the Dodongo is the best animal buddy in the Oracle Zelda games.
All right, there we go.
But the kangaroo.
I do like the kangaroo, but we do
No.
have a definitive opinion here, so, you know. I guess it is indeed Dimitri the Dodongo. So we have $30 from Barry, excited to donate to a great cause during my favorite Zelda game. Good luck to all the runners and kill those animals. We have $25 from Lori Susan 6. What an awesome cause and what a great event. My son Bo and his friend Nick are there for the first time. We love The Legend of Zelda. We have $25 from Ben Steele. So great to see this game beaten so fast. It took me 43 hours to beat it on my first playthrough. I'll donate another 25 if you can do it faster.
I think we'll make it.
Good luck from Australia.
Thank you. All right, so this run has about a little more than 20 minutes left to it, but we still only have 2 of the remains. So somehow we're going to have to collect the last 2 remains, Goat's remains and Gyorg's remains, and then head off to the Majora fight before that. So as we did earlier in the Twinmold fight, we set it to we set it to 5 a.m. of the current day, which means that pretty soon here we're going to have a day transition. And I want you guys to make your best educated guess as to whether or not you think it's going to be dawn of the first day, dawn of the second day, dawn of the third day, maybe dawn of the 0th day, I don't know.
Just hold up your hands, 1, 2, or 3.
Or 0.
Okay. A lot of good guesses. I see a 7.
Who knows? He might be right.
I see a bunch of zeros. I see I see a day okay. That's a good one.
It's a very good day.
And
All right. Well, unfortunately, you're all wrong. It's actually a new day. So, yeah, so that happened. Also, this is the top of Snowhead, so let's fight Go right now.
This will be explained after the boss fight during the long cutscene. And this will also be explained.
Yeah, so we did something there to skip obtaining the fire arrows so we could melt Goat. But yeah, so this temple is one of the shorter ones in the run.
Just about 2 minutes long. So this fight's pretty fast-paced. Jim's going to knock down Goat as quickly as he can, and then the eyes are going to make another appearance in the run. The eyes, like I said earlier, limit how much damage you can do, and in this fight it's even more important than in the others, because if you do the wrong amount of damage, you'll get an extra cycle. So Jim's going to pull out his bow and shoot exactly 5 normal arrows, and then a light arrow. Then he's going to knock down Goat again quickly by shooting 1 light arrow and 3 normal arrows eventually, maybe.
Yeah, the stalactite got in the way there.
And sometimes Goat's hitbox can be a little bit funny, and even though you do shoot him and hits his armor or something like that.
So then this cycle is 4 normal arrows and a light arrow. And finally, the last cycle, it's going to be 5 more arrows and a light arrow.
It doesn't actually have to be light arrows. It can be any of the elemental arrows. It's just in this run, we only get light arrows. Also, we didn't really mention this, but a very good change to this game from the original is you can equip multiple types of arrows at once. Like, yeah, on the original, you could only have one equipped at once. So being able to equip multiple was pretty good.
Yeah, it's not important what does the damage, it's the amount of damage. The same sort of thing for the Twinmold fight. With a blue Twinmold cycle, it's always 2 cycles. There's no version of that where you can do all the damage in just 1 cycle, even though there's only 1 arrow to finish off blue Twinmold.
Yeah, so do you want to explain the wrong warping, nerds?
Oh, you should do action swap first.
Okay, yeah, I'll do that.
Oh, do you want me to do that?
Yeah.
Someone else want to do it?
No,
Okay.
you got it, nerds.
I can do
Okay.
action swap. So basically, the concept behind action swap is that at the very start of the game, we were given that bomber's notebook, and as Jim said, it would be pretty important for this. So what ends up happening is we set a tower alarm to 6 a.m. on the very first day. When we warped into Goat using that wrong warp, it was 6 a.m. of the first day, and we could use the alarm with the bow and the stick.
Yep.
The bow and the stick at the same time. So you're in first person, you press the stick and the tower alarm at the exact same time, and you get a fire arrow. Not an elemental fire arrow, but just a lit arrow stored on the bow? Is it the bow?
No, you're pulling sticks.
Yeah.
Basically, you're interrupting the transition from bow to stick, so you keep some properties of both. And because the stick can burn, in interrupting a property, we have the stick set to be burned, and we're also shooting an arrow.
So it melts gold.
Yeah. For wrong warps, we said at the very beginning of the game that we had a timer that started that was counting how long the game's been running. So when we catch hot spring water in the Gibdo bottle specifically, it writes the value of that timer over the current day, how fast in-game time is going, and a couple other memory addresses which aren't important. So normally in this game you have day 1, 2, and 3. You also have day 0, which is where the Lost Woods prologue is, and you have day 4 where the credits is. And the game only cares about your day number as one of those 5 values. So day 5, if you were to write the value day 5, that would be the same as day 0, because it's a multiple of 5. Day 6 would be a version of day 1, so it's 1 off from a multiple of 5, and so on, all the way up to 255. So what we can do is, using this timer and the Gibdo bottle, we can write any value onto the current day, and specifically we're writing a multiple of 5 plus 4, so we're in a glitch day 4. Glitch day 4 will cause that Dawn of a New Day cutscene to play anywhere, or anywhere where there's like a Dawn of a New, or Dawn of a Day transition, and that causes these wrong warps. It also sets time to go incredibly fast. can actually set time to a huge range of values, but usually it's incredibly fast. So Jim's going to be mashing Ocarina here to make sure he doesn't moon crash after this, because after the dawn of a new day, it gets reset to day 1.
Also, this is Gyorg.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Alright.
it's a very technical glitch, and we try to have it done before the marathon, but we are working on an explanation video that goes over a lot more of the technicals of it, so a runner or interested viewer can better understand it, because this is not the place to explain that complicated of a glitch.
All right. So now I need to shoot Gyorg with arrows 5 times on 3 different cycles so that his eye comes out. Thankfully, these pots have arrow refills, so it doesn't really matter if we waste any.
I like that your timer went from 24 to 36 hours remain.
Sometimes the wrong warp glitch can mess up what the timer says, but usually it's pretty accurate.
All right, so I'm going to jump into the water here as Zora Link to deal the last hit of Gyorg, and I'm going to attempt to get a very fast cycle right here. Positioning's a little weird, so hopefully we'll be able to do this.
It'll be tight now.
Yeah.
He needs 4 hits.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I ran out of magic. Uh-oh.
You did it!
Give me my magic.
Yeah. A lot of people, when playing this game, they think you need to use magic to swim fast as Zora. If you hold R and you're out of magic as Zora, you'll still swim fast. In fact, mashing R is the fastest way to swim, regardless if you have magic or not. But it's also the easiest way to get tinnitus, so...
All right, yeah, so normally for this fight, you have to hit a mine and have Gyorg inhale it, apparently, 3 times. So the mine goes into his mouth, and then the eye comes out, and we can damage the eye.
What Jim was attempting to do at the start of this part of the fight was deal 5 damage to Gyorg, which will skip a mine cycle.
And the good thing about going for that early is that if you catch Gyorg to do like the breathe-in thing for the mine, it'll actually make the mines pop up faster. So you're not sitting there waiting for like a minute for the mines to pop up.
All right, yeah, so that's Gyorg. And with this, we now have the 4 remains that are necessary to go and face the final boss.
9 minutes ago we had 2, now we have 4.
All right, so because we had to wait for however long the game needed to be on for the cycle that we wanted to hit, that's one of the big reasons that text speed doesn't really matter in this game, because it doesn't matter how much time text saves before the last wrong warp cycle that you manage to hit. So this is the only actual place where we'll be losing time with the English text, is in all the cutscenes from here to the end of the run, which, if done correctly, should be over in less than 10 minutes.
Yeah, watching runs of this game can be a little bit weird. You'll see that the runner's about 30 seconds ahead, and then they'll have to wait for a cycle, and they'll be right on pace with PB again. It's just one of the quirks of the 80% run of this game.
Yeah, the main way in the beginning part of the game, you can only really lose time by home buffering because you're pausing that timer. But once you get past the Gyorg run warp, like from there, mistakes can start drastically affecting your time.
Yeah, so this is the big offender on the English version when it comes to text speed.
Yep.
It's like the game's teaching you how to spell. Because this text box is only like 7 characters on the Japanese version. And since that cutscene goes by character, it's much longer on English.
It actually goes by character on English and Spanish, but not on French, which is why French is actually a little bit faster than English. Goes by like syllable on French for whatever reason.
All right, so now we're going to soar back to Clock Town. Normally, as you saw in first cycle, Clock Tower isn't open until the midnight of the third day, but Goron Link doesn't care.
We're just gonna stare at this wall, take a nice picture.
It's a lovely brick there.
And there we go.
As a side effect, we get a nice like background to this.
Yeah, we get a nice serene background to this cutscene.
Yeah, a little bit cloudy.
Yeah, I love the night of the second day version of this cutscene.
So this is actually like the longest cutscene of the run. So if you'd like, or if you have any donations, now is the time to read them.
We have $50 from Bunka High. Was going to spread my donations out for this marathon, but since I spent my entire childhood playing Majora's Mask, I had to donate for a chance at that amazing Skull Kid statue. Been watching since SGDQ 2013, and it's always been a pleasure to watch every year. Thank you to the staff and to every runner for making all of this possible. What you do here cannot be understated. Money goes to Couch's Choice. We have $50 from Torlon 182. Here's to watching my favorite Zelda game at GDQ, but I'm getting a weird sense of deja vu. We have $50 from Moss's Lives 09. Hey guys, thanks for playing my favorite game and fighting for a good cause. Majora's Mask is my favorite Zelda game. Had to donate for the first time viewing the best Zelda game ever. Good luck.
Thank you. All right, so we do actually have a lot of the MM3D community here today. We're a pretty small community, and but we think that being small together can be very powerful. So if there are any $1 donations that have comments on them, we'd like to see if they can be read, because all of your small donations do add up to make a big difference here at this event.
Indeed, I don't see any $1 donations in my queue at the moment.
Can you just read your smallest donation with a comment?
Let's see, my smallest donation with a comment. I have a $10 one from God King Acheron. Longtime watcher, first-time donator. Finally fulfilling my dream of being at a GDQ in person. Good luck, Jim.
Thank you.
P.S. $25 more if you can pronounce my name correctly in one go. I think I got it. Maybe. Who knows? I guess we'll just watch out for another donation. So the next smallest one, it looks like I have, is $25 from JJ the Texan, making my first donation of SGDQ 2018 during one of the most interesting games of my favorite series. It's too bad we won't get to see Fierce Deity, the greatest Link incarnation ever. Good luck, Gymnast, and save the animals.
Thank you.
I mean, we can get Fierce Deity pretty quickly, but I don't think we'll have time after this run.
We have $25 from Wolfen64. Hey everyone, been watching GDQ's recordings for years, first time watching and donating live. Zelda is my favorite series, and I love seeing you guys wrecking it down every time. Good luck, congrats for the event, and keep moving fast. We have $30 from Zombie Girl's Life. I never thought playing games fast could raise so much money. Keep it going, runners, and thank you, GDQ. I'm so glad that I'm able to donate to Doctors Without Borders. That is a $40 donation from Spuddy7. I've been a supporter of them for a while. Thanks, GDQ and Gymnast, for putting on a great show.
Thank you.
We have $250 from Zarfganar 230. Is it that time of year again? Keep up the good work, everyone. We have another $250 donation from Crazer89. All right, you guys do amazing work for fantastic causes. Much love.
All right, cutscene's almost over. Most of this final segment of the run is unfortunately just cutscenes. Most runners will split for Gyorg, and then they'll split again for Majora. And it's about 10 minutes if that segment is really good from Gyorg to the end of the run.
For context, we're 7 minutes into that split right now, so.
And the majority of that was this cutscene.
All right, so here's the Windows XP background with a tree.
Shoutouts to OMG a Tree 6.
Interesting choice. All right, and then here's Majora. So this final fight has 3 different phases. The first one is going to be the Mask. The second one is going to be the Incarnation, and the third one is going to be the Wrath. So we have each of the 4 remains, so they get stuck to the walls of this room and activate the big bad guy. So for the first phase here, I'm going to attempt and use the Zora boomerangs to stun Majora, and then transform into Human Link so that I can shoot a light arrow at her. And not miss next time, hopefully. There we go. And yeah, we pretty much just want to do that for this fight, but there are some complications that are going to come up. Mainly, the remains are now going to come off the wall and start flying around. And the remains have the power to attack us if they see fit. So hopefully they don't here. As long as I transform here and don't get attacked. Okay. So a good mask phase. Now we get to the Incarnation phase, which has the ability to end runs. If this fight goes badly, then unfortunately Link is gonna game over. We do have a Fario that we caught earlier, so it is nice that we do have that. Alright, so I'm gonna actually start this phase by attempting to shoot all the remains out so that they can't bother us. Making sure to avoid their energy ball attacks. Oh. The wrong mask. Where are you? There you are. All right, so thankfully that happened pretty smoothly. Now I'm going to attempt to sort of stun lock Majora using the Zora boomerangs and the Zora magic shield.
So while you can stun lock Majora as Zora, she can also stun lock you with her orbs of energy, which is the run killer, which I believe that Jim is now past, thankfully.
Hopefully.
Well, let's not jinx it.
I might run out of magic. Yep.
Oh.
Yeah. Not much you can really do right there. All right, so unfortunately I ran out of magic, so I'm going to attempt to do a slightly different strategy once I can actually hit Majora again. Okay. I'm going to use Human Link jump slashes and spin attacks. If I can hit Majora, or not. Come on, where are you going? And then using a spin attack, I'm going to attempt to stun her again. Okay, there we go.
Nice.
All right, so we got time coming up pretty soon here.
Ready for the kill?
Yeah. So we got to do 20 Zora jump slashes on this fight. So
Goron punches.
Sorry, Goron punches. So can everyone in the audience count with us?
Yeah, so we're going to shoot Majora with a light arrow, do 20 Goron punches, and time ends on the 20th Goron punch. So let's all do this together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Oh!
All right, we still needed 14.
Yeah.
13 right now.
No, 14.
Oh, okay.
All right.
13 or 14?
This will be 14.
Yeah. 14.
15, 16, 17, 18, 19.
Oh! All right.
Get out here, Blade-Vids.
19.
20.
Time. So, yeah. That was The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask 3D in 132:46.
We're supposed to wait for them to come.
But yeah, so I just want to also shout out some other people in the MM3D community. Ben Stevens, 56, The Legend of Zahir, and Iwabi, 74. All amazing runners at this game, including all the guys on the couch back here.
You guys didn't introduce yourself before. You guys want to do it now?
No.
No.
Okay, fine. Here we have the once great Jamama 92, Aaron Toad 99, the Ultimate Stooges, Princess Viviana. Never mind, he left.
But yeah, so thank you very much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. And I will also be running The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword on Wednesday morning at 2 a.m., so.
Also, shout out to Tungle Croc. And once again, shout out to Fox. Sorry you couldn't be here. We got to hear. Oh yeah, also shout out to Yumius14. Sorry, Yumus14.
Yeah, so with that, I believe we're done. Thank you very much for having me, and I hope you guys all have a good night.